Hello everyone and a warm welcome to all. My name is Hazik and I'm from Tutorial 1 Group 3 and we will be presenting important manager issues. My team consists of 10 presenters. Firstly we have Lee Sim Yi, Lim Jia En, myself Hazik, Izzat Shahir, Yunus Chung Mei Lim Zizin, Ain Rafida, Muhammad Amirul, Tan Yun Ru and lastly Fu Zuen Ling. Our presentation consists of 5 discussion questions, 5 global control case study questions and also 5 serious about sustainability case study questions. Now I will hand over to the first presenter.
Hi, good day to all. I'm the first presenter, Simi. Let us begin with the first question. How does the concept of global village could affect organization and managers? From my perspective, I reckon that the biggest impact towards the organization and managers is through the market expansion. When a business enters global, it will start with global sourcing, moving to importing or exporting, using licensing or franchising, or they can apply global strategy alliance or set up a foreign subsidiary. And for the business enter global, usually they also refer to as a multinational company, so-called MNCs. For these MNCs, it may operate as a multi-domestic corporation, global corporation, or borderless organization. Therefore, the concept of global village could transform this organization to one of these kinds of MNCs. Furthermore, from the perspective of managers, they have to consider about the international market and rearrange their strategies to meet a diverse range of customers with varying needs and preferences. Moreover, we have also found some impacts on the organization and managers through the technology and innovation. For example, Global Village has fostered innovation through the exchanging ideas and technologies. And for the managers, they have to stay up to date on the technology development to be competitive. In addition, we have also found some impact on the organization and managers through the supply chain and sourcing. So for now, Global Village has enabled organizations to grab sources such as materials, components, or talented laborers from all around the world. And for managers, they have to navigate the global supply chain and consider about the factors such as logistics, tariffs, and regulation. That's all for my part. Now I'll pass it to the second presenter.
For the second question, we are going to discuss how society expectations are influencing organization and managers. Society expects organizations and managers to be responsible and ethical. Their expectations for organization and managers are from the following aspects. The first one is social responsibility. Social responsibility, also known as corporate social responsibility or CSR. Society expects the organization and managers to obey the law, pursue economic interests, and they view business as a moral agent. The second one is social obligations. Organizations are expected to meet their basic obligations to society, which is complying with laws and regulations and also paying taxes. Managers must ensure that their organization fulfill these obligations as a minimum requirement. The third one is social responsiveness. Society expects business firms to engage in social actions in response to some popular social need. Society expects organizations to be responsive to emerging social and environmental issues. For example, some business firms provide on-site childcare facilities for employees or packages products using recycled paper. The fourth one is sustainability. Sustainability is company ability to achieve its business goals and increase long-term shareholder value by integrating economic, environmental, and social opportunities into its business strategies. Managers are responsible for developing and implementing sustainable practices that reduce negative impacts on environment. In their business strategies, they make environmentally friendly choices in their operations and reducing their carbon footprint. The last one is ethical conduct. Society expects organizations to conduct their business with high ethical standards. This includes fair treatment of employees, ethical sourcing, transparency in financial reporting, and avoiding practices that harm society.
So now I'll discuss about the question 3. Should manager be characteristic? Why or why not? What are the characteristics? The definition of characteristic is the tendency to focus on only a tiny portion of a situation rather than attempting to understand the overall picture. So, in my opinion, managers should not be characteristic. because these are consequently limited perspective and views. Paracalistic can lead to limited understanding of the broader business environment. Managers who only consider their own perspective and ignore the external factors may miss out on valuable insight and opportunity. Second one, there will be conflict and misunderstanding. The manager may struggle to work effectively with individuals from diverse backgrounds or cultures. This can lead to misunderstanding, conflict, and reduce the collaboration within the organization. Not only that, manager will make the indecisive and ineffective decision making. Decision may not be well informed or consider the best interest of the organization as whole. This can result in suboptimal choices that harm the company's performance.
Environments. The Globe study, based on Hofstede's research, the managerial implications are first, power distance index. In high power distance cultures, hierarchy is accepted, but in return, obedience, loyalty, and respect are required. In low power distance countries, societies value democracy, allowing juniors and people in lower positions to question authority freely. Second, indulgence versus restraint. In high indulgence cultures, people prioritize enjoying life, personal freedom, and self expression. In high restraint cultures, people prioritize self discipline, follow norms, and value emotional restraint. Third, individualism versus collectivism. In individualistic societies, people value personal independence and prioritize their own goals over group expectations. In collectivist societies, they are careful about expressing themselves and treat their group differently from strangers. Fourth, long-term orientation versus short-term orientations. Long-term oriented societies prioritize status-based relationships and emphasize shame for not meeting collective expectations. Short-term oriented societies prioritize personal stability, tradition, and greetings in the present. Fifth, uncertainty avoidance index. In high uncertainty avoidance cultures, there's a strong preference for clear rules and structures. In low uncertainty avoidance cultures, they are more comfortable with unstructured situations. Last, masculinity versus femininity. In masculine cultures, men are expected to be assertive and successful, while women are expected to enhance family life. In feminine cultures, men and women share responsibilities for both work and family. So, what is the GLOBE study? GLOBE refers to global leadership and organizational behavioral effectiveness. From cultural dimensions, performance orientation measures how much a society values members for excellence. Assertiveness orientation reflects how assertive individuals are in social relationships. Future orientation measures how much individuals plan for the future. Human orientations measures how societies value caring behavior. Institutional collectivism measures how societies promote collective actions, and so on. From leadership dimensions, for charismatic or value based, leaders inspire through personal qualities, values, and vision. For team oriented, leaders emphasize collaborations and group success. For self protective, leaders prioritize self interest and the protection of their own positions and etc.
For question 5, how might the cultural differences in the globe dimensions affect how managers A. use work groups? In collectivism cultures, managers may prefer a larger and team-oriented work group where the group's success is prioritized over the individual achievements. While in individualism cultures, managers may prefer more autonomy and individual recognition with an emphasis on individual accountability. For question B, how might the cultural differences in the globe dimension affect how managers develop goals or plans? In cultures with a high future orientation, managers may set a long-term goals and strategic plans, like invest in the future. In contrast, cultures with a low future orientation may prioritize short-range goals and quick results. For question C, how might the cultural differences in the globe dimension affect how managers reward outstanding employee performance? In cultures with high performance orientation, managers will encourage and reward the group members for performance improvement with tangible incentives like bonuses or promotions. In contrast, Cultures with a low performance orientation may emphasize non-monetary rewards or recognition. For the last question, how might the cultural differences in the globe dimension affect how managers deal with employee conflict? In high-power distant cultures, superiors may play a more prominent role in conflict resolution, which employees obey to authority figures, while in low-power distant cultures, there may be a more participative approach to conflict resolution, which is involving open discussion and input from multiple parties.
Alright, so we're moving to the next part, which is case study 1, question 311. How does this story illustrate a global village? So, first of all, we need to know what is global village. According to Fundamentals of Management, ebook Global Edition, it explains that global village is a boundaryless world where goods and services are produced and marketed worldwide. This story illustrates global village in various perspectives. One of it are global interconnectedness, the widespread adoption of electric vehicles, and the need for lithium-ion batteries highlight the interconnectedness of the global economy. The demand for electric vehicles is not limited to one country or region. It spans across major economies, including Europe, United States, and China. Second, resource dependency. The production of lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles relies on essential raw materials, such as cobalt, which is primarily sourced from the Democratic Republic of Congo. The fact that China is the largest consumer of Congolese cobalt emphasizes the global nature of resource dependencies in today's interconnected world. Third, international expansion. CATL's global expansion strategy, which includes acquiring a contract manufacturer in Finland and establishing offices and facilities in Europe, shows how companies are venturing into international markets to tap into the growing demand for their products. And last, global competition. The story raises questions about CATL's ability to compete in the global market, underscoring the competitive nature of the global economy. The success of the companies in this space depends on their ability to navigate international markets and compete effectively.
For question 312, using Exhibit 3.1, what approach is China CATL using to go global? Explain your choice. A global village refers to a boundaryless world where goods and services are produced and marketed worldwide. China CATL is using the approach of strategic alliance to go global, where there is a partnership between CATL and foreign automakers. The story has illustrated that those foreign automakers who want to sell electric vehicles in China have been forced to partner with local battery makers. This partnership has not only enabled CATL to gain knowledge about the global market, but also drives CATL to expand abroad through supplying battery for electric vehicles to new market. Apart from that, CATL also acquired a contract manufacturer in Finland and has added offices in Paris as well as facilities in Germany. This step has reflected CATL's obvious intention, which they desire to conduct business beyond China.
For question 313, what kind of MNC do you think CATL is? Explain your choice. CATL is currently a global corporation since they are trying to make their way into other countries' market. CATL has set their base in China and are trying to expand their business beyond China. 99% of CATL's business comes from home contracts in China. They are planning to make their way into Europe and United States. The factors of why CATL is a global corporation are: firstly, they are substantial in size and influence, holding a considerable market share within their industry. Secondly, they also have complex supply chain and distribution networks that span across multiple countries, allowing for efficient production and distribution of goods or services. Other than that, they are widely recognized and have a significant brand presence on a global scale. The company has a significant international presence with manufacturing facilities and partnerships across multiple countries, including China, Germany, and other regions, catering to a global market. Last but not least, they use strategic partnerships as one of their ways to maintain their organization. Collaborations with various automakers and energy companies demonstrate its strategic positioning in the industry and the ability to adapt to different market demands.
Moving on, we have question 14. How would Hofstede's dimension of national culture and group findings be useful to CATL's management as it moves to Europe and eventually to the United States? Hofstede dimension of national culture and the group findings provide valuable insights for companies like CATL as they expand into new market regions like Europe and United States. These dimensions help in the understanding of the cultural differences between countries and can be detrimental in the success of a business venturing into new territories. Here's some way these cultural dimensions can be useful for CATL's management. First, we have individualism versus collectivism by Hofstede. This dimension deals with the degree to which individuals in a society are integrated into groups. CATL needs to understand whether the focus in their target market is more on an individual achievement or a group harmony. For an instance, the US is often characterized as an individualistic, while parts of Europe may be more balanced approach. This knowledge could guide their marketing strategy and team dynamics. Next, we have uncertainty avoidance by Hofstede. This dimension measures a society's tolerance for uncertainty and ambiguity. Countries like Germany might have lower uncertainty avoidance compared to China. Understanding this can help CATL in tailoring their marketing business strategy and communication to suit the local preferences for risk taking and innovation. Last, we have assertiveness and future orientation by Globe Findings. These aspects consider how aggressive and forward-thinking a culture is, knowing the level of assertiveness and future orientation in Europe and US will assist CATL in positioning their products and approaches. For an instance, the US might be more assertive while certain parts of European countries might prioritize a longer-term view. By considering these cultural dimensions, CATL's management can adapt their business strategy, marketing approach, management styles, and even designs to suit the cultural differences and tendencies of the new markets they are entering. This understanding will likely contribute to a smoother transition and increased acceptance in these regions, enhancing their prospects for success in their global market. That'll be all for question 14. Moving on to the next presenter. Thank you.
So now I will discuss about the question 315. As much as the 40% of the global output in Congo comes from the mining done by culture of freelancers. US and European companies are really of doing business with corporate suppliers who buy from this culture, partly because some of the miners are children. These children really wear the safety mask of other safety equipment and can suffer the crippling injuries doing this dangerous job. So now let's see the question 15a. That this response by this company fall under the classical views of social responsibility or the social economy view of social responsibility? Explain. So I think that this company fall under the more with the social economy view of social responsibility rather than the classical view. For the classical view of the social responsibility, the classical view typically enhance the profit maximization within the boundaries of the law and customary ethical practice. Company operating under this perspective might prioritize financial gains while complying with the legal requirement. In this scenario, a purely classical perspective might overlook the social and ethical implication, focusing primarily on profit concerns and legal compliance. For the social economic view of the social responsibility, the social economic views consider both the social implication and the impact of business action and society. It enhances that business have a responsibility to address the society issue, go beyond the legal obligation. The company concerned about not engaging with the supplier employing child labor and lacking the safety measure aligned with this view. It reflects a concern for the social and ethical implication of their supply chain practice. So the conclusion is more with the social economy view of social responsibility rather than the classical views. So now let's see the question 15b. Look at the definition of social responsibility in the chapter and discuss the ethical factor in this scenario. The definition of the social responsibility is business firm intention beyond its legal and economic obligation to do the right things and act in ways that are good for society. So the number one is child labor and human rights. The children being involved in dangerous mining operation breaches fundamental human rights and present a serious ethical question about the child labor. Business have an ethical obligation to avoid the supporting or profiting from such the activity. For the second one is workplace safety. The ethical responsibility to maintain a safe working environment is demonstrated by the absence of the safety equipment that could result in injuries. So, regardless matter where the employees are located in the supply chain, business have an ethical obligation to take their health and safety into account. So for the third one is supplier responsibility. Business have an ethical obligation to make sure their supplier follow moral guidelines, refusing to do the business with supplier who engage in unethical activity, including abusing child labor or placing the employee in dangerous situation. Or the last one is social impact and accountability. Enterprise understand their part in encouraging social consult practice throughout their supply chain and avoid doing business with supplier linked to child labor and dangerous working conditions. In summary, the ethical factor in this scenario highlight the necessity of for company to consider not only the financial gain but also the ethical implication of their supply chain practice on society and individual.
Hi, now I'm going to discuss question 16, which is, do you think that European Union's ban on one of biased products in Europe will affect its use and reputation in other territories? Why or why not? So my answer is, in my opinion, the European Union's decision to outlaw one of biased products in Europe may have an effect on the company's usage and standing abroad. And there are some considerations that lead to my answer. First consideration is global perception. The EU is an impactful and influential market, so its action has the potential to affect people all over the world. The EU's decision to outlaw bio products will ultimately garner international attention and become a hot topic. Customers' trust and the product standing in other markets will be negatively damaged by the prohibition on biased product due to the discovery that it includes ingredients that may be harmful to the environment. Second consideration is market response. The prohibition may provide competitors more chances. Other businesses will profit from the circumstance by positioning their products as a safer and healthier substitutes. Besides that, less controversial options may be preferred by consumers like farmers. The market's demand may shift as a result of this. In the area where these issues are prominent, buyers' sales and reputation could be negatively impacted and even destroyed. The third consideration is regulatory impact. Other countries may take action in response to the neonicotinoids dispute, as it is a global environmental issue that is being addressed seriously. So other countries may impose comparable bans or even more stringent limitation on the use of neonicotinoids if they found out that there is enough proof of the substance detrimental effects on the environment. As a result, there may be less market opportunities for buyers' operation in that area. So in conclusion, buyers' standing and the use of neonicotinoids in other regions may be impacted by the prohibition. The degree of the impact on the company's international operation will also depend on how buyers' legal challenge is resolved and how well it can handle environmental issues.
Hi, so now we are going to discuss question 17, which is, do you think that the environmentalists have overstated the dangers of biased products to the bees? I disagree if people say that the environmentalists have overstated the danger on biased products to the bees, because bias has been linked to negative effects to the bee populations, including wild and honeybees for some of these insecticides, especially neonicotinoids. Biased products, particularly certain pesticides like neonicotinoids, have been associated with potential harm to the bees. Neonicotinoids are systemic insecticides that can be absorbed by plants, including the nectar and pollen that are collected by the bees. This exposure has been linked to negative effects on the bee health, including impaired foraging abilities, damage to the nervous system, and a decline in overall bee population. The concern is that these pesticides may contribute to colony collapse disorder, where entire bee colonies experience a sudden and significant decline in population. Bees play a crucial role in pollination, so any threat to their well-being can have widespread implications for ecosystems and agriculture.
For the question 18, the question is, do you believe that Bayer is demonstrating socially responsible action, and explain? Bayer is, as a global pharmaceutical and agriculture company, has faced both praises and criticism regarding its social responsibility practice. From my belief and my opinions that Bayer is demonstrating socially responsible action, and here are some explanations. From sustainability, Bayer has pledged to uphold environmental responsibility and sustainability. The corporation has established goals to lessen its impact on the environment, such as cutting back on water and greenhouse gas emission. And in support of global health, Bayer is in charge in the pharmaceutical and healthcare industry, both of which have the potential to enhance global health. And the pharmaceutical section of the corporation has created and marketed drugs for a range of medical ailments. And the last one, for the community involvement, Bayer participates in a number of charitable and community involvement projects, such as those that promote social development, healthcare, and education.
Now we are going to discuss question 19, which is, do you agree with Bayer that the European Union's ban on some neonicotinoids is a bad deal for Europe? Referring to the case, we don't agree with Bayer that the ban on some neonicotinoids is a bad deal for Europe. The first reason is effect on the bees and ecosystems. Bee population declines are attributed to neonicotinoids according to the environmentalists, who cite compelling scientific data to support their claim. Since bees are essential pollinators for food crops, the loss of bees can have significant effects on agriculture and the environment. Therefore, neonicotinoids must be outlawed. The second reason is the principle of precaution. Many environmentalists advocate taking action to safeguard the environment and public health, even in cases of scientific uncertainty. They contend that any short-term agricultural benefits are outweighed by the possible risks connected to neonicotinoids. Last but not least, the potential remedies. Bayer argues that rather than depending only on the prohibition of neonicotinoids, other options for safeguarding and promoting bees and other pollinators should be investigated. There are more environmentally friendly ways to control pests, according to some environmentalists, and they are ought to be encouraged. They highlight the integrated pest management techniques as a means of lowering the need for chemical pesticides. Furthermore, contrary to what Bayer claims, research like that published in the journal Natural Plants suggests that lowering the use of neonicotinoids may not have a major negative impact on crop productivity. So to put it briefly, I think Bayer has its own perspective. However, we believe that Bayer should put the advantages to the environment and the society first as a business. This is due to the fact that a company's operations will be greatly impacted by its social obligations and contributions. A business that fulfills its socially responsible obligations will gain the trust and respect of the community and will be perceived differently.
Lastly, we have question 20. What lesson have you learned from this case about being socially responsible? The case involving Bayer and the controversies around neonicotinoids offers several crucial lessons about social responsibility, particularly in the context of agricultural practices and parasite use. First, we have environmental impact assessment. It is vital to conduct comprehensive and independent studies on the environmental impact of a product. This includes the need for long-term studies to understand the potential repercussions of chemicals on ecosystem. In this case, the impact on bees, crucial pollutants, was discovered after widespread use. Next, we have transparency and accountability. Companies should be transparent about their products and their potential impacts. Bayer claims to focus on data transparency by providing easy and fast public access to many of its product test results. This transparency is crucial in gaining trust and enabling external assessment for its product safety. Lastly, we have balancing profit with responsibility. There's often a conflict between economic profit and environmental or social responsibility. Bayer argued against the ban on neonicotinoids, citing potential negative consequences for farmers. However, balancing these interests with environmental impact is crucial in making socially responsible decisions. In conclusion, the case of Bayer and neonicotinoids underlines the importance of considering the broader impact of products on the environment, biodiversity, and human health. It also emphasizes the needs for balancing between economic interests and social responsibility in decision making. Now, that marks the end for our presentation from my team. Thank you all for your attention and time. I would like to invite all of you to join our Kahoot session. The link will be provided below. Thank you very much for all your time and attention, and have a nice day.